to Longridge Manor, and if I've not had the pleasure of meeting you before, my name is Bob Parker. I'm of course the country manager for Forever Living here in the UK, also with responsibility for Ireland and Iceland. And this is the first of a series of short video messages that I'd love to send to you, and over the course of the coming weeks we're going to be covering inspirational subjects. We're going to be talking a little bit about the product range, things that are happening around Forever. I might recommend some of the books that I'm reading at the moment, and I'm also hoping that in the coming weeks I'll persuade some of our leading distributors, some of you guys, to be joining me on the camera and sending out a message. And I'm getting to grips, if you like, with the times that we find ourselves in and the technologies that now exist for sharing messages, not just locally but internationally. And you're probably aware, for example, YouTube is one of the most visited sites now in the world on a daily basis, with lots of how-to guides on there. So I thought it's about time Bob Parker got to grips with the 21st century, so here I am. My motivation really for sharing what I'm going to share with you is the impact that it's had on my life. And when I say it, I mean being on a constant journey of personal development, striving to be the best that we can be on every occasion. And my first insight into the way that we think determining the way that we eventually end up was way back in my formative years as I was leaving school, actually. And I guess like many of you out there listening to this now, you probably went through a formal education system similar to myself. I can't say I was the best academic in the world, but what I did recognise was that the school system that I was involved in very much was just driving all of the pupils along the route of get some qualifications and you'll be okay in life. And even back then I wasn't that comfortable with that particular message and not being that academic, but I guess I left school with that mindset that it was all about how clever you were, or what qualifications I could get would perhaps determine where I'd be in life. And then around about the age of 19 I was introduced to a book, and I can't even remember how that introduction was made. I think a friend lent me a book called Think and Grow Rich, written by an author called Napoleon Hill. And even though the book was written way back in the 1930s, I think it was first published in 1937, it's now sold over 15 million copies. The title of the book really tells you what the book's about, and that is that the way that we think determines how we get on in life. So the Think and Grow Rich book and other books that I've read along the years really have formed the foundation of the way that I now think. And it's some of those thoughts, some of those chapters, some of those ideas that I want to share with you. And Napoleon Hill's book way back then actually came as a result of him being sponsored by one of the great industrial magnates in the US, which was Andrew Carnegie, who sponsored Napoleon Hill to go and interview 500 of the richest millionaires in the US to see, what could he find, what similarities, what patterns could he observe, and that formed the basis of the book. And we're going to share those thoughts with you over the coming series of messages.